You did it. The project is done. The promotion came through. The goal you set months ago is finally checked off. And for 30 seconds, it feels like enough. Then something shifts. Your mind begins scanning the edges. Was it done well enough? Could someone else have executed it better? Is this even worth celebrating when there is so much more still waiting? The relief dissolves before you have had any real chance to hold it. This is not ingratitude. This is not weakness. This is your nervous system running a program that most people around you cannot see and have probably never thought to question. There is a name for what you carry. Psychologists describe it as chronic self-inadequacy, a persistent internal state where no external achievement is ever able to satisfy the internal measure of worth you hold yourself to. The bar does not disappear when you clear it. It simply moves higher. Here is something that almost nobody mentions. This pattern usually begins not from failure, but from a very early experience of conditional approval. When love or recognition felt like something that had to be earned, the brain learned to keep earning. It never received the clear signal that it was allowed to stop. So you kept going. You worked harder, achieved more, improved continuously. But inside, the quiet voice stayed exactly where it was. Not yet, not enough. But here is where it gets interesting. Research in self-determination theory shows that people who carry this pattern are not simply insecure. They tend to be remarkably driven, unusually perceptive, and capable of a kind of focused precision that most people genuinely cannot match. The very pressure that makes rest feel impossible also makes their work stand apart. The problem is not the drive, it is what happens in the silence after. Because you have never learned what it feels like to simply arrive somewhere, to let a moment of success exist on its own without immediately scanning for what is still missing. Every peak quietly becomes a platform for the next climb. That sounds like ambition from the outside. From the inside, it feels more like exhaustion wearing a convincing mask. Here is the part that actually changes things. The standard you keep reaching for is not a real standard. It was built from other people's expectations, absorbed during years when you had no other frame of reference. It became your internal voice, but it was never truly yours. You are not someone who has failed to become enough. You are someone who has spent years measuring yourself with a ruler that was never made for who you actually are. The question is not whether you are enough. The question is whether you have ever given yourself space quiet enough to find out. And maybe that is exactly where it begins, not with another achievement, with a pause long enough to finally hear your own answer.